Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
All right, welcome to the All American Hoops Podcast, episode 47. I'm Chris Driscoll, and with episode 47, this is the only thing I can think of right now off the top of my head. I usually wait to think about these. The only one I can think of was Tom Glavine. Used to be a pitcher for the New York Mets and for the Atlanta Braves. So, awesome show ahead of us. It's going to be just me today. I'm just going to be releasing my top 100. It's already been released on Twitter and on TikTok. But yeah, I've been releasing it for the past couple of days based on 10 at a time. Primetime Sports Talk, which is the website that I write for. They have that website already. They have a few of those already up, and I've been submitting them to them. It should be up probably sometime by the end of the week. But we got Tuesday is a big day. It's going to be the opening day. The Celtics are going to be playing the Knicks. I don't even know the other one yet. It's been really busy. Obviously, one of the thoughts is that it is the Mets are still in the playoffs, so I've been focusing on baseball a lot, but however, obviously been focused on basketball too with the amount of content I've been pushing with my top 100 and my record prediction. So yeah, but obviously I'm really looking forward to the basketball season while also focusing a ton on the baseball season as well. So awesome show ahead of us. Like I said, top 100 release. We're going to be doing it little by little. And then after that, I'm going to be giving my record prediction. I'll be sharing my screen for that. And once we have all that settled, we'll call it quits up until the start of the season starts, which is in 2 days. So super excited for that. And also we're super excited for the brand new theme song as well. We just had a brand new theme song played. I forgot to mention that, the Sports Loon theme song. And the one that you're about to see now is a theme song from the new All American Hoops theme song, which I could show you can see the new background as well. But anyway, looking forward to an awesome show. This is the All American Hoops Podcast. Pretty cool stuff, huh? As mentioned, episode 47 of the All American Hoops Podcast. Just me today. One thing I forgot to mention in the pre-show, haven't really put a lot of thought into my decoration in the back. Not everything's centered, but I do have a new addition to the jersey collection. Mirrored, so it's tough to tell. But yeah, we got Shaq back here. I wanted to get my least favorite teams over with, but that's okay. Yeah, that's better. Today's show, I'm just going to be releasing my top 100 of current day players. And I'm going to be doing it I'm going to start revealing them based on tiers. So what I'm going to do, building up from 1 to 100 rather than 100 to 1, figured that'd be more, it would make more sense in that sense. But I took a couple of screenshots of each one. They should be up and ready to go right now. But if not, I'll just be sharing my screen for them then. Perfect, they're already. Okay. So, but before I share my first two, because I'm doing it in tiers, so I'm going to give it away now. So the first tier is going to be just two guys. I'm sure you can imagine which two they are. There's really three options, in my opinion, for who could be the first and second best player in the league. I'm very, very confident in mine. I know other people are very confident in theirs, but pretty much what I want to answer when I'm giving my list of the best players in the world is, if I'm building my team to win a championship, who do I want on my team? If I'm building my team to win a championship, who do I want? Now, a lot goes into that. Obviously, first thoughts is, can this player be the best player on a championship team? That's a very important question to think about, because obviously you got guys that are extremely talented. They're youth. They have a lot of energy. They can play a bunch of games. Can they be the best player on a championship team, though? Most of the league cannot. There's a very small amount. So those would be like the first couple of guys on the, first like few guys on this. Probably like, I think there were about like maybe 8 to 10 if I'm being generous guys that could be the best player on a championship team. I know some people think it go up to like 11 or 12. I'm very confident in my 10 though. I could be persuaded 11, but once we get past there, that's when I start to have some issues. So then I think about, okay, so if you're the best player on a championship team, are you easy to build around? So you can have guys that are like extremely talented, as I mentioned. Are you easy to build around, though? You could be the best player and you could win a championship as the best player, but there might be other guys who are not as good as you, but they're versatile and they're easier to build around. Like I'm sure you can understand where I'm coming from now, based on who I talk about sometimes a lot. He might not be as talented, yet he doesn't have like an A+ skill, but he's very versatile, and someone like that is someone I want on my team. So once I get that done with, players that are the best player on a championship team, yeah, so I have a list of players that can be the best players on a championship team and how easy to build around. And I also have an injury tax. If you get injured a lot and you can't go through the wear and tear of playing most of the 82 games and then can't make it through the playoff run without having a serious injury where you can't play a lot, I'm going to move you down a couple spots, because you can have all the talent in the world. If you're not there to play, why would I have you higher than some other guys who are almost as good as you, maybe not as good as you, but they're going to be on the court and they're going to be, and we know they're going to play every single night. So, are you talented enough to be the best player in the world? Are you easy to build around? Can you play with others really well? So, that doesn't matter always. Like sometimes you could be so talented to where it doesn't really matter what other people think. You're that talented, you can win. But for the most part, I care about if you're easy to build around. I also care about can you play a ton of games? I want you to play a ton of games from the full 82 game season, and then I want you to be there in the playoffs. Speaking of the playoffs, when we get to the playoffs, can you up your game in the playoffs? Because people can be young and play all the games in the regular season. It can be a lot of fun. Once the playoffs come around, they're a different animal. You're playing against great defenses every single night. You're playing against great offenses every single night. So you're going to have to start to really pace yourself to be the best player that you can. Can you do that? Some people have all the talent in the world, but then when playoffs come around, they completely fall apart. So that's what I care about. But one more thing. If you can't be the best player on your championship team, which most people can, so there's no shame in not being able to be the best player on your team, can you be the number 2? And can you default to the number 1? Can the number 1 rely on you if they're not on their best night? Can they rely on you to have a good night to pick up their slack? There are a lot of players that can do that. There are more players that could do that than be the number 1. But how good are you at that? How good are you as the number 2 and being able to work with the number 1? Being able to work with the number 1, as we said, can we build around you? Being able to be more versatile as a number 2 is probably more important to do that as number 1, because we have a number 1. We're gonna give the ball to him. We're gonna build around him. He's the face of our team. He's going to be the guy. Now, but not every player is perfect. So we need role players. Can my second best player fill in those other needs? There might be some players who are better as number 1s, to where they might be a good number 1. They can be an offensive engine. They can win a lot of regular season games. But you ask them to be the number 2. Oh, I'm not as good. They're not as good as that. They don't fill a lot of holes. But there are some number 2s that may not be as great as leading a team, but they thrive in that number 2 role. I care more about those guys. I prefer guys who maybe might not be as talented to carry a bad team, but to be on a good team and turn them great. Turning a bad team good is very impressive. I'm not saying it isn't. It's extremely impressive. Like what Russell Westbrook did in 2017. He made a bad team good. That was extremely impressive. I care more about guys like Kawhi Leonard, though. I would have preferred Kawhi Leonard in 2017 win MVP than Russell Westbrook. Kawhi Leonard turned a good team great. The 2017 Spurs were extremely underrated. I don't know if they would have beaten the 2017 Warriors, but I think they would have beaten the Cavs. Kawhi Leonard made the good team great. I care far more about what you can do to help win a championship than what you can help do to make a bad team good. I know people see that as unfair, but not always. I'll give my example now. I think Trae Young is a fantastic player. I think he's one of the best offensive players in the game. He can turn bad offenses into good offenses. But can I ask him to be the number 1 on a championship team? I think everyone agrees no. He's not. He might be as good offensively, but defensively, he's We can't have that type of defense on the floor, especially when they're going to attack him and he's going to be too tired on offense. Can he be the number 2 on a championship team? Sure, absolutely. Someone that great on offense, they could definitely be the second best player on a championship team. But is he easier to build around than a Jaylen Brown? Jaylen Brown fills more needs than Trae Young does. Donovan Mitchell fills more needs than Trae Young does. Karl-Anthony Towns fills more needs than Trae Young does. I would say besides Donovan Mitchell, all those guys that I listed, Trae Young is probably a little better at making bad teams good. That's impressive. I don't care as much about that, though. I care far more about turning a good team great than a bad team good. So, in short, I want you to be talented. I want you to be talented enough to where you can be the best player on a championship team. I want you to play a bunch of games. I want you to be there in the playoffs. I want you to up your game in the playoffs. I want your game to translate to the playoffs. I want you to be easy to build around. And if you can't be the best player on a championship team, that's when being easy to build around becomes more important. Can you fill a hole? Can you be versatile? And can you help me win a championship? That's what I care about the most. Can you help me win a championship? So, with that being said, let's start off with the tier 1, the 2 best players in the world, in my opinion, are Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think these 2 guys are easily the best players in the world. They're both 2 of the most talented players in the world. Nikola Jokic is top 5 offensive player of all time. The best offensive player in the league currently. You're going to have an elite offense with him no matter what. He's let some good. He's made some bad teams good, and he's made some good teams great. People are counting out the Nuggets now. You have the best player in the world on team, Nikola Jokic. He's going to be the guy to carry you. Giannis can also be a guy to carry you. He's made bad teams good. He's made good teams great. The 2021 Bucks were not that good of a team. He made them great. He has his offensive limitations for sure, but he dominates. He's a walking, efficient 30-point-a-night guy. He'll anchor your defense. He has his limitations in the playoffs, but his limitations in the playoffs still include all those limitations. He's still much better than most guys, than most superstars who have the limitations. Give me Nikola. If I want to win a championship, give me, and I'm doing a draft. If I have the first pick in the draft, I'm taking Nikola Jokic. And if I have the second pick in the draft and Nikola Jokic is already taken, I'm taking Giannis Antetokounmpo. Those are the 2 best players in the league, in my opinion. I know some people are going to say Luka, which we'll talk about Luka very briefly, but I am going to give the edge to Giannis, mainly because of two-way ability. I kind of gave my spoiler there, but I do have Giannis slightly ahead of Luka. So, should be up in a second right here. There's a couple of things that I'm trying to straighten out. But yeah, I do have Jokic. Jokic 1, I have Giannis 2. And I have Luka Doncic 3. So I'm not sure what other people thought of that. I know a couple of people watching now. Let me know if you think that I'm very wrong in that sense. I'm very confident in my pick. I definitely think that these are the 2 best players in the league. And I'm about to share my screen with who I think the 3rd, 4th, and 5th players in the league are. I think Luka Doncic is the 3rd best player in the league. I think he is debatably, outside of Jokic, the best offensive engine in the league. He's made bad teams good, and he's made good teams great. The Mavericks this year were a good team. He made them a great playoff team. I don't want to use the word carry because he had a great team, but he was the offensive engine on the team. When Kyrie wasn't the one to pick it up, he was doing awesome. He was playing some awesome basketball. He torched Anthony Edwards in the Western Conference Finals. The reason that he's not ahead of Giannis is because of his defense. And I know some people might want to move him down because of his defense. Some people might want to move him up because of his offense. But when you're that limited, you can't be a top 2 player in the league, in my opinion. At number 4, I have Jason Tatum. Remember when I said I want guys who are versatile and can fill needs? How about a guy that can guard your center? And if your center goes up to set a screen for the point guard, oh, sure, let's switch. I can guard the point guard. Or a guy who's the guy who's guarding the point guard is struggling. I'll take the point guard. Oh, the point guard's getting a screen from the center. Let's switch. I'll do anything on defense. I'll do whatever what we need. Oh, you want me to play point guard tonight? Sure, I'll bring up the ball. I'll lead the offense. Oh, my jump shot's off tonight. Let me drive to the hole and let me try to get some passes out. Sure, I could do any of that. I'm Jason Tatum. I'm the most versatile player in the league. I can guard whoever you want me to. I can switch on whoever you want me to. If on offense, I'm going to make the best I can. If my jump shot's not falling, I'm going to pass the ball I can. I'm going to pass the ball when I can. If my jump shot's on, you guarantee I'm going to shoot the ball and it's going to go in. I'm Jason Tatum, and I'm a top 5 player in the league. Now, people are going to be very upset at that because they think I'm a biased Celtics fan, and they think that Shai is so obviously better than Jason Tatum, which Shai's a better offensive engine for sure. He's a better driver. Finishing is debatable. I think that Tatum's a better passer. Some people think that Shai's a better passer. I disagree. Playmaking probably goes to Shai as well, but Shai isn't as great a passer as people say he is. He's a great offensive engine. He's the best driver in the league. He could shoot the ball. But he has a very limited track record, though, especially in the playoffs. He's very reliant on the free throw line, which he showed that he doesn't need the free throw line too much in the playoffs. He played awesome against the Pelicans when they were without Zion, but I'm not gonna down him for that. And then he played really good against the Mavs too. It came down to when he fouled someone in Game 6. I think it was PJ Washington. The right call in my opinion, but I don't know. Maybe you put the whistle in your pocket when it's a close game. So I know people think that it's very obvious that 1, 2, 3, 4 goes Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't think it's necessarily like that. Especially I feel like it's always been, you have to prove yourself in the playoffs, like make a deep playoff run in order to be a top 5 player in the league. Shai hasn't done that yet. And as great as he is, he's not that guy yet to me. I need him to do a little more. Just a little more. That's my opinion. So, people will say that. So those are my first 2 tiers. Those are like the tier of guys who can be the best player on a championship team, no doubt. They're going to play a lot of games. They're going to get you there, and they're going to get to the playoffs. Now, they might say, "Oh, why is Giannis number 2 then? He hasn't played in the playoffs well in the past couple of years." That's right, but I trust Giannis though. Giannis has earned the benefit of the doubt for him to play that well. So I definitely trust Giannis. Even after he got injured in 2023 and then injured in 2024 and didn't play at all. So I understand why you don't want to trust Giannis, but I do. So then we're going to go into these are one of the tiers are going to get a little bit bigger. So next we're going to have 6 through 10 actually, which this is killing me. I should have done this beforehand, but 6 through 10 is where we're going to have some of our guys who already have done it before, but we don't know if they can do it now. So a couple of these guys have done it as number 1, but we don't know if they can do it now. So it's going to come up in a second really quick. Kevin Durant, I think, is the 6th best basketball player in the league. Think about how versatile he is. Sure, I can play make if you want. If you need me to score, do you want me to do it at the rim? Do you want me to do it from the mid-range? Do you want me to shoot the 3 ball? Do you want me to take over the game? Do you want me to take the ball and say, I got this? We saw him do it. We saw him do it in the Olympics. Speaking of the Olympics, can LeBron James do that? I think he can. As a matter of fact, I know he can. Give me the ball. I can play make for you. Oh, you want me to score? Yeah, sure, I can do that too. Do you want me to play defense? Ooh. Oh, it's a Tuesday? Maybe not. Oh, it's the playoffs? Oh, let's lock in. I'm going to play defense now. That's an issue. That's why I have him a little bit lower. But the versatility, LeBron James can be your guy. Number 8, Steph Curry. Oh, offense. You want me to be the guy to drop 40 in a night? Sure, I can do that. What about play make? I'm not the best passer, but I'm definitely going to move off the ball for you. I'm going to make it easier for everyone else. I'm going to make everyone else open. That's me. That's my guy. Anthony Davis versus Joel Embiid. That's going to be the one where everyone disagrees with. But think about it this way. Who do you want in the playoffs? Anthony Davis or Joel Embiid? Who do you trust more? Who has done more to show that I can do this? I can guard the best player, and I can take over in late in the big game. Anthony Davis has done that. He did that last year against Jokic. Embiid does that sometimes, but usually by the time we get to the playoff time, he's usually kind of worn out. His body breaks down. And I just don't know if I want that when I'm building a championship team. Steph Curry doesn't do that. His body usually doesn't break down. But what about when we get to the playoffs? Say Embiid's healthy when he gets to the playoffs. Are you ever going to be concerned about Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James just foul baiting? Are you going to be concerned about them just falling apart in the fourth quarter? I won't be. What about building around Embiid? Is this someone that's gonna trying to think of the word? Is this someone that's going to build around other people? Is he going to say, you know what, this guy is this guy isn't really the best. This guy's much better on the post, but I'm going to go out. Or maybe this guy's better from three. So let's try to pass it out from three, and let me try to Fleming for that. He's not as versatile as these guys. Joel Embiid is one of the most dominant regular season players that we've ever seen. Can you trust him at all when you get to the playoffs, though? I can't. Who would you rather have in the playoffs, Joel Embiid or Giannis Antetokounmpo? I'm not thinking twice. I want Giannis Antetokounmpo. Who do you want, Joel Embiid or Luka Doncic? I want Luka Doncic, not thinking twice. Do you want Jason Tatum, Shai Alexander, or Joel Embiid? I'm taking Tatum or Shai, whichever one. I'm taking Joel Embiid, the last out of those three guys. And I'm not thinking twice, really. What about Embiid versus LeBron, Steph, or KD? Oh, LeBron, Steph, and KD are washed. They're not nearly as good as Embiid. We're talking about the regular season. Sure. You want to take Embiid over all those guys? Be my guest. That's not what I'm concerned about. I want my team to win a championship. I care about winning. I want my team to be the best they can. If I want my team to win a championship, I don't want Joel. I don't know if I want Joel Embiid as my best player. I'd rather build around Steph Curry. I'd rather build around LeBron James. And I'd rather build around Jason Tatum. 10 is very low for Joel Embiid. Most people, I only know one other guy who created a big list. That's Jason Timpf. He's the only guy that had Joel Embiid lower. Everyone else has him much higher. Be my guest. If you care about talent and all that and everything, that's awesome. I'm not going to shame you for it. I care about winning championships, though. And as the best player on the team, Joel Embiid has yet to show us that he has the skills and intangibles to do so. Let's go into the next tier. We got another group of five guys. Now these guys, everyone but Jaylen Brown has shown that they could be great as a number one option. You know what? I'm going to include Jaylen Brown actually because Jaylen Brown has shown that he could be the number one option. You guys know I love Jason Tatum more than anyone. But he has had some off nights for sure. Can Tatum trust Jaylen Brown to pick it up when he's not going? He sure as hell can. So Jaylen Brown can be the best player on a perfect scenario, in my opinion. Can Anthony Edwards? Sure. Can Donovan Mitchell? Yeah. Can Devin Booker? Yes. Can Jalen Brunson? Yes. But if they're just put in a bad situation, can they carry a team to a championship? I don't think so. They can all make a bad team, maybe not a bad team good, but they can make an average team good, I think. All those guys. I do have Anthony Edwards and Jaylen Brown ahead of these three guys because of their two-way ability. I think that Mitchell, Booker, and Brunson are probably better. They're all better on offense than those three guys, but defense matters. Anthony Edwards isn't great at defense. He's very good in defense. He's good at guarding the ball. He's not as disciplined as guarding off the ball than Jaylen Brown, but he can play defense, and I think that's only going to get better with that. But like I said, I'm building my team to win a championship as the number two, because I don't know if these guys could be the number one unless their bench is absolutely stacked. So defense is really where it's going to start to matter here. Jaylen Brown can play defense much better than Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, and Jalen Brunson. So that's why I'm taking Jaylen Brown over those three guys. But what about for Mitchell, Booker, Brunson? Why do I have it in that order? That's mainly because I do think that Booker is the best defender out of the three of them, in my opinion. Booker's probably close. Mitchell or Booker. Brunson's definitely the worst out of them. And as far as it goes for offensive creation, Mitchell is probably a little better. I think he's the better floor raiser as well. Come playoff time, it's very close. Mitchell played awesome. All three of these guys have a history of rising to the occasion in the playoffs. Mitchell played awful in 2023. Booker didn't play great last year, and Brunson didn't really become a superstar until this year. So 11 through 15, it's really irreversible. You could put Jaylen Brown at 11. You could put Jalen Brunson at 11. You could put Anthony Edwards at 15. I don't care. I'm very confident in this with this tier, guys, though. Give me Anthony Edwards 11, Jaylen Brown 12, Donovan Mitchell 13, Devin Booker 14, and Jalen Brunson 15. None of these guys could be the best player on a championship team unless they were in the best situation possible outside of that. So they would need to have at least like 2 other top 40 players and maybe like 2 other top 50 players. So they really, really need to be in the best scenario possible. Now, this next tier is going to be a very, very, very small one. By very, very small, it's going to be the smallest one we had. Yes, we already had a 2-tier one, but we're going to have a 1-tier one this time. That's Kawhi Leonard. God bless Kawhi Leonard. I love watching Kawhi Leonard play. When Kawhi Leonard is on the floor, he is MVP-esque. You could make the argument from like January to February last year that he was like, I'm talking, I mean, not even January, February, like I would say early December to like mid-February, like by the All-Star break. He was playing better basketball than anyone. He was scoring at will. He was as efficient as anyone. He wasn't turning the ball over, and he was playing at an all defensive level. People say like, "Oh, Kawhi Leonard isn't even that good when he's on the court." He is phenomenal when he's on the court. He's one of the best players in the league. But remember when I said, when he's on the court, doesn't matter to me, or it does obviously, but I care more about playing games. I care more when you get to the playoffs. Can you play a lot of games? Kawhi Leonard played a lot of games last year, and he played at an awesome level. He made All NBA second team. He didn't get to the playoffs. He couldn't play in the playoffs though. He played 2 games, and he wasn't Kawhi Leonard. That's the issue. We already know that we already know for this year that he's going to be, he's not going to be in. He's not going to be ready to go. So I'm going to include him in this tier because I do believe that if you're building your team to win a championship, like say the Martians came to came to you and said, we're going to invade planet Earth unless you build a team to win a championship, and then you say, oh crap, let me build my roster. These 15 guards aren't available, but Kawhi Leonard is. I have to take Kawhi Leonard. There is a smidge of a chance that he can win. We can make him healthy for a good amount of the season, and then come playoff time around, he's going to elevate his game. His game elevates to the playoffs. But the issue is he's not there. So that's why I have him a little bit lower. I think 16 is a good number, especially because his game translates to the playoffs, but we just haven't seen him do it. But the issue isn't even that he gets injured a lot. The issue is that in the past 4 years, he has not finished the season with his team. In the past 8 years, 6 of those years, he hasn't finished. It's consistent not finishing the season, not even getting injury prone, but it's breaking down by the end of the season. It's like Embiid, but far worse. So let's get on to a bigger tier now. I'm going to turn off the banner real quick so we can see the bottom. So now we have 17 through 25. So these are going to get bigger and bigger. So none of these guys, in my opinion, could be the best player on a championship team, even if you build them the perfect roster. They might be able to take your team to the finals. We saw Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo do it twice. Actually, they brought their team to the finals, but they got whipped in the finals though. Most of these guys could be the best player in a conference finals team. John Morant wasn't the conference finals team, but he led his team to the 2nd seed. De'Aaron Fox led his team to the 3rd seed. Tyrese Halliburton led his team to the conference finals. Tyrese Maxey has been the 2nd best player on a team that has made the playoffs every year, but not that guy yet. Kyrie Irving, he's another story, but I'll talk about him in a second. Damian Lillard brought his team to the conference finals in 2019. Butler and Bam, I explained. I think Victor Wembanyama is going to be filthy this year. People think he's going to be top 10. I think that's pushing it, but top 15, not at all out of the question. John Morant, I think he's going to be back and better than ever this year. Is he going to be top 20? Absolutely. I'd be shocked if he wasn't. Is he going to be top 15? Not sure, but not out of the question. Is he going to be top 10? Don't think so, but not out of the question at all. Maybe I should have included Wemby and Morant a little bit higher, but I don't know. By higher, I don't mean number. I mean on that difference here, but that is what it is. De'Aaron Fox, I think he's one of the more underrated players in the league. He's great two-way ability. He's great on offense as well. He's extremely fast. I want him on my team. He's someone I'd love to be the second option on a championship team, without a doubt. He's not the best shooter and everything. He's gotten better at a shot, but he plays both ways. He's extremely fast. You can plug him into the system. Tyrese Halliburton, one of the best offensive engines in the league. I would say outside of Jokic, Luka, Giannis, Jokic, Luka, Shea, maybe a couple others, like maybe 2-3 others. LeBron probably. Halliburton's one of the best offensive engines in the league, but he's not that great in defense. If like Anthony Davis is my best player and Tyrese Halliburton would be my second best player, that would be awesome. You got an offensive engine and a defensive anchor. Then after that, just a bunch of guys who could be number two, who have been number twos and 1As and 1Bs lately. So Maxey, Irving, Dame, Butler, and Adebayo. I think that Dame's gonna be awesome this year. I think that he's gonna be much better than he was last year. What people don't realize though is that he averaged 24 and 7 last year. I'm pretty sure, I forgot which guys that only done it. I think it was only LeBron, Luka, and Jokic that did that. That's phenomenal to do that. Like points and assists are and everything, but they're very important. And he did that all in 59% true shooting. So Dame was very good last year. He just wasn't good to Dame standards. And I do have Jimmy Butler a little bit lower because as great as he is in the playoffs, which if you're going to be great in the playoffs, I'm gonna give you more points for that. He's been injured the past couple of years, and he's not going to play a lot of games. And they're going to be the 8th seed. I don't want that. I want consistency. I want you to play every game, and I want you to play in the playoffs. Most of these other guys have proven they can do that. Butler's 35 now. It's really tough for him to like carry a team anymore. So that's why I'm going to have him at 24. And I know that some people are going to say that they think that Bam is better than Jimmy, which isn't a bad take. If you want to believe that, that's totally your prerogative. It's not an awful take. I think it's incorrect. But yeah, if you want to believe that Butler is better, then that Bam is better, then that's fine. But come playoff time, I want Jimmy Butler. I don't want Bam Adebayo. Next. I think we cut off 26. I think we did that by accident. But yeah, so 26 I had Paul George. Paul George has become very, very underrated. So I would say like the guys that I put before here, these are guys that could be, I would say they could be 1Bs on a championship team. All those guys could be maybe, I'm trying to picture that. So like maybe 2As is a better thing because like obviously Kyrie was the clear number 2 to Luka, but he was still phenomenal number 2. I think most of these guys would be great number 2s, but just not as great as like some of the all-star level guys. Because like I feel like we're getting to the list where like a lot of these guys could be number 2s if they play with Nikola Jokic. Not everyone can do that though, but playing more games as the number 2. Paul George, he's 26. He can do that absolutely. Paolo Banchero, not there yet, but I think he's going to be that at the end of the year. And then it's interesting. 28, 29, and 30. Rudy Gobert, Domantas Sabonis, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Why is Rudy Gobert the best player out of the three of them? Because Gobert offers something on defense that quite no other player in the league offers, and that is all-time great level rim protection. Gobert is one of the best rim defenders of all time, whether people want to believe it or not. He's someone who has protected the rim at an elite level better than anyone else in his generation. He's a once-in-a-generation defender. Is he better defender than Anthony Davis? Probably not. Davis is a little more versatile, and rim defense is a toss-up. But come playoff time, you want both. You want versatility and rim defense. But rim defense is a little more important because that's going to be what limits teams' offenses. But obviously, he is very limited on offense, so I do understand why you want to keep. You want to keep Gobert a little bit lower because he's so limited on offense. That being said, if we're talking about limitations, both Cats and Domantas Sabonis are also very limited on offense as well. On defense. They're very limited on defense. Sabonis is not that great a defender at all. We saw him kind of get exposed against the Warriors that he was very bad on defense, and also he was kind of tired by the time that he got to the by the time that he got to the playoffs. He was kind of tired on offense all the time. So that was the main issue with him, is that he was so tired. Like they were really making him work on defense to that he was very tired on offense. So that was the main issue with him, is that some of these guys, they're just teams totally target them on defense to the way they're getting exhausted on offense. You don't see that with centers usually, but you saw that with Sabonis against the Warriors. Karl-Anthony Towns. I love Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't know how great of a number 1 he is though. And he could be a great number 2. He is a great number 2. Some people thought he was the second best player in the Wolves this year. I thought it was Gobert. I'm fine with either, but I think that Gobert probably has the biggest flaw in offense, but he's going to be the best defender in the league when you are building a team. And then that kind of goes along with Trae Young too. I'm going to skip over Scotty Barnes for a second because that's a whole different story. But Trae Young's limitations on defense is what keeps him so much lower. I think he's a top 10 offensive engine in the league. Some people say top 5. I think that's pushing it. But if you want a guy anchoring your offense, Trae Young's your guy. Issue is he's so ball dominant that it's kind of hard to build around him. He's ball dominant and he can't play defense. You need guys that can shoot and defend. There's not a lot of guys that can shoot at an elite level and defend. You also need a center that can catch lobs, which Clint Capella is great at. But that's not a championship formula. You need your number 1 and your number 2 to play defense, and then you need more players. That's my issue with Trae Young. Then Zion at 33. Zion would be much higher if he was better, if he was more healthy, but we just haven't seen that from him. But yeah, that's the issue. I'm kind of dragging on for a lot of these, so we're going to go through these next one quickly. But Lauri Markkanen and Pascal Siakam, I love the two of them. I think they're awesome. Jamal Murray has been the number 2 on a championship team, but took a step back last year. I do have Chet and J-Dub, the second and third best player on the Thunder. I think both of them would be obviously the second best player in the team if the Thunder won the championship this year, which they 100% can. And then James Harden, DeMar DeRozan, and Julius Randle. These are 3 of the most famously biggest playoff droppers in the league. Like, I think that Julius Randle is the worst playoff dropper of all time, and definitely of today. The only other guys that could complete with DeRozan and Harden and Randle, I would say probably Russell Westbrook. I don't know. There's someone else that I'm thinking of. It's not Rudy Gobert. It's someone else that I'm trying to think of. Maybe someone's watching this that they want to comment if they think who they think is another bad playoff dropper. Let me know, because I'm drawing a blank here, because those are like the 4 playoff droppers that I think about for sure. But I know that some people disagree with others. So that's what I have for number 26 through 41. So let's go to, this is going to be a little bit bigger of a tier now. It's going to be a little harder to see because it's a much bigger tier. I think it's 42 to 60 something. So let's see. Yeah. So yeah, these are really very tough to read. So yeah, I'm going to read them off for you. So we got Jaren Jackson Jr., we got Evan Mobley, we got Cade Cunningham, Alperen Şengün, Derek White, Drew Holiday, LaMelo Ball, Mikal Bridges, Desmond Bane, Franz Wagner, Kristaps Porzingis, Chris Middleton, Brandon Miller, Jared Allen, Brandon Ingram, Darius Garland, Herb Jones, OG Anunoby, Draymond Green, Bradley Beal, Mike Conley, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, and Fred VanVleet. This was very, very hard. How do I separate them in tiers? I'm not sure. Jaren Jackson Jr. is awesome, but I don't know if he could be the number 2 on a championship team. He needs to improve a little bit on offense. I don't think any of these guys could be number 2s unless they're really put in the perfect scenario. You have to have a great coach and a great supporting cast as well. So Jaren Jackson might be the second best player in the team. If the Grizzlies won this year, it would be a lot more than him, though. Evan Mobley, I think, will be the second best player in the Cavs. I think he's going to jump. Cade Cunningham is going to be the best player in the Pistons this year. One day, he will be able to be the best player or second best player in a championship team. Same thing with Şengün. Then we get to Derek White and Drew Holiday. Neither of them could be the second best player on a championship team, but they both were. They showed that they could be the third, fourth, or fifth best player on a championship team. Porzingis is better than them. He was better than them in the regular season. He's a better player than them on a per game basis. But the issue is that that Porzingis wasn't available. That's why I think that White and Drew were a little bit better. Drew was better in the playoffs, but White's younger and better in the regular season, so that's why I put White a slight spot ahead of him. There are not many guys that you want as a third and fourth option more than Derek White and Drew Holiday. If you ask me who I want as my third or fourth option, Cade Cunningham or Drew Holiday, I want Drew Holiday. That's it, and I don't think that's too hard of a take. But this is where it gets tough because you debate, okay, could this guy be the number 2? I'm not sure. I know that Derek White could be the number 3. Probably can't be the number 2. So who do I want? Who would I rather have? I'm not sure. There is a point where I'm going to take floor raising over ceiling raising, but gun to my head, I'm taking ceiling raising over floor raising. Draymond Green might be considered a little high. That's fine if he thinks that, but I still think he's an elite defender. Speaking of elite defenders, I made a TikTok on this the other day. I completely forgot to put Herb Jones on the list altogether. That's why he's on the list now, but wasn't on the list of my initial TikTok videos. So shout out to Herb Jones. And then a lot of these guys are older guards, like Bradley Beal, like Mike Conley, like Kobe White's Kobe White's young. He doesn't. He's only has this is his 5th year he's going into now. Zach LaVine and Fred VanVleet. So a lot of these guys are vets. and very, very well respected players around the league. So shout out to them for being such great players and such great teammates along the way, especially Mike Conley. Shout out Mike Conley, so underrated. It was a very important part to the Wolves' success this year. So shout out to him. And also shout out to Fred VanVleet for that 2019 championship ring. He's only gotten better since. Now we have a smaller tier, but just guys a tier that are just a little bit lower. It's like the past weekend I've been talking for 40 minutes about my top 100 players. So here we have DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Aaron Gordon, Jeremy Grant, Michael Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Naz Reid, Keegan Murray, Miles Turner, Brooke Lopez, Nick Claxton, Alex Caruso, Jaden McDaniels, Jabari Smith Jr., Grayson Allen, and Mitchell Robinson. None of these guys could be the number 1 on a championship team. None of these guys could be the number 2 on a championship team. I think all these guys could be the number 3 on a championship team, though, if they're put in a good situation. DeJounte Murray was an all-star 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I still think he's a very good player. He played very good against the Celtics this year. He shot 30 times, but he played very good as the number 1 option. I'm only playing one game, but using that as an example. CJ McCollum, he can't win the championship this year with the Pelicans, but in a better situation, I think he could be the number 3. So this is where it gets hard. I would rather have these guys as a number 3, but some people would say, oh, but they couldn't do it as number 1 or number 2, though. Neither could a lot of the guys ahead of him. So that's where I care more about. Can you fit in with the team? So that's why maybe Brooke Lopez a little high seems a little high, but he can fit in with most of these guys. He could fit in on a championship contender. So Grayson Allen, I think he could be the number 3, but in the best scenario possible. So that's my opinion there. And then Mitchell Robinson would be much, much higher if he wasn't getting injured. I think he's one of the best defensive players in the league when healthy. Again, when healthy. He's going to miss the first 2 months or so of the season. That's why the Knicks traded for Karl-Anthony Towns. That's why they had to get rid of Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo, because they needed to get a center, because their current center can't stay healthy, which matters to me. People are going to use talent. They say, he's much better than Grayson Allen. What are you talking about? He's much better than Alex Caruso. He's much better than Nick Claxton. First of all, no, he's not. Second of all, I'm going to move you down a couple spots if you're injured. So, sorry, Mitch Robinson, you're a great player, but not good enough. And rounding out my top 100, we got guys that probably can't be the number 3 on a championship team either, but they could be a very, very good number 4. So Marcus Smart, Isaiah Hartenstein, Colin Sexton, Anthony Simons, Jalen Suggs, Jalen Johnson, Clint Capella, Manuel Quickly, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Walker Kessler, Tyler Hero, RJ Barrett, Vika Zubac, Jaden Ivey, Al Horford, Wendell Carter Jr., Lou Dort, and Jalen Duren. All guys could be great number 4s, but probably not number 3s. So great role players. Here's my top 100. Starting off with Nikola Jokic, going all the way down to Jalen Duren. I went through all the tiers. I explained all the tiers. I think I did it pretty well too. My criteria: if I'm building my team to win a championship, who do I want on my team? Do I want? Can you be the best player in a championship team? You can. Great. How so? What have you done to prove that you can be the best player in a championship team? Have you actually done it? Oh, that's awesome. I want you on my team. Are you a versatile player to where you're easy to build around? You are? Love it. You're on my team. You have some limitations? Okay. But you could still be the best player in a championship team, so we'll leave you higher on this list. I think the first 3 tiers, so the green, the light blue, and the orange tier, those guys can win a championship. If those are the guys leading your team, they can be the number 1 on a championship team. So I'm going to hold on to you because I know that you can be the best player in a championship team. So yeah, props to you. Then when we get after that, okay, so none of you guys can be the best player on a championship team. Can you be the number 2? You can. That's great. However, it's a lot more competitive pool though. There are more guys that can be number 2s than number 1s. Obviously, that's just a fact. There are more guys including number 1s, because a lot of these number 1s play together. Maybe not a lot, only 2 of them. I think LeBron and AD could be number 1s, but they happen to play together. So AD is obviously the best number 2 in the league. I think he can also be a great number 1 though. So is there? I don't think there's anything too controversial about this list. Obviously, people are going to disagree with Tatum over Shea. They're going to disagree with Jaylen Brown as well, because I'm a Celtics fan. They're going to think I'm overrating all these guys. I do not think I am. I think that this is a pretty solid list, in my opinion. Put a lot of time into it. Posted on Twitter, not many disagreements with it yet, but I'm imagining there is going to be a lot of disagreements, though. So, trying to think of it, like, there weren't many other difficult, like, many other comparisons or slashback to this. But we will see for sure. Up next, I'm going to be giving my takes on the final standings predictions. So I had a screenshot of Vegas odds at first, but I'm not sure if I still have that. I may have deleted it, but let me check. So yeah, first I'm actually going to try to see if I can make a better screenshots of this. So I did this on Friday night, actually, so bear with me. So these are the final standings predictions. Yes. So basically what I did was I went through all of DraftKings and just made my predictions based off that. So I made some corrections to it as to what I think it would be. And that's what I think it is. So in a minute, I'm going to show you my final standings predictions, and we should be all set to go right after that. But for now, I'm going to let you look at the list one last time. We got 1 through 100, starting with Nikola Jokic and finishing off with Jalen Duren. So once we have this ready to go, which we should in 1 second. Looks like we don't actually, so that's a problem. But I might just have to read this off to you unless I share my screen, which I'm probably going to do that, honestly. Let's share my, yes, I'm going to share my screen, actually. Now, this is where I miss having a co-host so I can have them bounce off me, but that's okay. Let me just save this real quick. Should be up and going really soon. But I don't think I think there were a lot of disagreements that I had with Vegas odds. There are some things that I disagree with very, very strongly, and I'll explain that in 1 second. But there really wasn't a lot that I strongly disagreed with. I'll be honest with you there. There was a couple of things that I definitely disagreed with, but this is really annoying. Okay, there we go. Perfect. That'll be up in 1 second. Here we go. Okay. So here are my final standings predictions. So let me get rid of the logo. We got rid of the banner already, but let me get rid of the circle too. So out west, I have the Thunder finishing first, the Grizzlies finishing second, the Nuggets third, the Wolves fourth, the Kings fifth, the Suns sixth, the Mavericks seventh, the Lakers eighth, the Rockets ninth, the Pelicans 10th, the Warriors at 11th, the Clippers at 12, Spurs 13, Jazz 14, Blazers 15. I think the Thunder are one of the best built teams in the league right now. I think they're going to be an absolute wagon. They're going to be an amazing team. They got a bunch of guys. They're young, but now they're experienced. They play a lot of games. They're going to be ready to go, and they're going to be a very fun team to watch. The issue is now with Isaiah Hartenstein missing a couple of games, but that being said, he was just like an icing on the cake type of guy, and they're going to be great without him anyway. I think the Grizzlies are going to be awesome this year. I had them winning much more games than Vegas had them. I think like 5.5 games or something like that. Yeah, but they're going to be an awesome team this year. So after that, I think I had the Nuggets. The Nuggets are going to be better than people think. I think they were at like 50.5. People are putting them off too much because of KCP. KCP is a great player, but he's not going to be lost that much. I think Christian Braun's going to fill his spot pretty well. I think that Russell Westbrook's going to be better than Reggie Jackson. So yeah, I think they're running them off a little too much. The Wolves, I think, are a little overrated. Anthony Edwards is awesome. Obviously, he's going to get better. I think the loss of Karl Anthony Towns is going to hurt them a lot more than people think, though. That's my number one issue with them. So, yeah, that's my overall take on them for now. Then after that, it's where we're going to get really tough. We got 5 through 10 is only span of 4 games. 5 through 8 is within 2 games, I think. So the Kings, the Suns, the Mavs, the Lakers. Obviously, all those are reversible, in my opinion. Lakers can be 5th. The Kings will be 6th. The Suns could be 5th. They could be 8th. The Mavericks could be 5th or 8th. The Mavericks can be 4, actually, but I think the Mavericks are going to be a much worse team than people think. I think that Klay Thompson isn't as good of an NBA player as people think he is. He's a great shooter still, but not much else. He's not great on defense at all, and I just don't trust him really. That's my number one issue with him. The Rockets are very good. People think they're going to be like the 6th or 7th seed. I think it's pushing it for now, but wouldn't surprise me at all. Actually, they made the playoffs without the play-in tournament. So that's my take. After that, obviously the Warriors, I think, are going to be very bad. Clippers, unfortunately, going to lose a lot of games with the absence of Kawhi, although James Harden will be excited to play that role. And yeah, we'll move on to the East now. I think my Boston Celtics without Porzingis will still be great. I think they're going to win 60 games this year. One of my friends said 67. I think that's pushing it. 60 seems like a good number. They won 64 last year. And just with overall with overall tread on tires and like just maybe championship hangover, they might lose some extra games, like accidentally lacking off. But the Celtics are still going to be an awesome team this year. The Bucks are going to be much better than people say. I understand why people don't believe in the Bucks because they have the issue with age and everything, and obviously it didn't work out last year. But Dame's going to be come back ready to go. Doc Rivers is their head coach for the entire year now. They're not going to fire him mid-year. I don't think they will. And they're just going to be consistent all year long. They weren't a lot of things went wrong from last year, but most things are going to go good from this year though. Knicks aren't going to win as many games as they did last year. I'm sorry, they're not going to win as many games as the Vegas says, in my opinion. So that's my issue with them. But yeah, they're not deep at all. That being said, I think they made the right move to trade for those guys, to trade for Cat because they didn't have a center. And if you want to win a championship with Jalen Brunson as your number one, you need an all-star. You need a rock solid all-star. That's Karl Anthony Towns. That's not Julius Randle. Karl Anthony Towns is your solid foundation piece. He's your all-star, rock star. He can be the number 2 in a championship team. Julius Randle can't. After that, there's really not many changes. I guess I did move the Sixers a little bit lower based on the fact that I think that Joel Embiid is going to load manage. He's going to set out a lot of games. In addition to that, he's probably going to get injured at one point this year too. So that's the issue with him. Pacers, I feel like I'm putting a little too low. Same thing maybe with the Heat, but it's tough. I did have both the Hornets and the Pistons winning much more games though. So I'm actually going to see if I can share my screen now so I can show you my spreadsheet that I made of the... give me 1 second. Should be able to share my screen real quick. There we go. Yeah. It is sharing, it looks like. So this spreadsheet is based on DraftKings, and this is their over-under. So here we have the over-under totals for all these guys. So I made the spreadsheet based on their over-under totals, my prediction for how many games they're going to win, and whether or not they got over 2.5 games. Okay, so my Thunder case, I think they're going to go over 2.5 games. I think they're going to win 2.5 games more. So if I wanted to do this based on, I have to make sure that I do it based on range. I feel like I'm giving a spreadsheet lesson right now, but this is only for sports. But let's show it based on the over-under because I do want to show you guys the ones that I disagreed with. So we'll go column F, and then we will go based on, let's go the most, like the biggest difference to least difference. So yeah, I think the Grizzlies are going to win a lot more games this year than people think. I had the Thunder and the Nuggets going over, which feels weird because I basically 3 to 4 teams, like the top 3 teams I had going over, but most people disagree with the Grizzlies being that much higher. The Clippers I had winning 1.5 more games because I do think that Harden's going to carry the team more than people think. I do love the Portland Trail Blazers. Shout out to Matt Driscoll. He's usually the second guy on the show. He wants to be every person should root for a bad team, and we're going to pick the Blazers that year. Lakers going to be a little bit better. The Kings maybe a little bit worse. So, but yeah, like we're right around the nose for like 2.5 to like most of these guys in the middle. The Spurs are going to be a lot worse than I think people think than if people are. The Spurs don't care really much about winning now. They care more about developing Wemby. The Mavs are going to be a much worse team. I don't know why people think they're going to be so great. As I mentioned, Klay Thompson is not good. They're losing defense. A defense of Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and Klay Thompson all on the same court together. That's not sustainable. And if that's going to be your lineup on the court in the playoff game, I'm sorry, you're going to lose. You're going to lose to the Thunder. You're going to lose to the Grizzlies. You're going to lose to the Nuggets. I don't know what to say to you. Like you're not a good defensive team. If you can have Rudy Gobert for that matter on the back end, and he'd be the one getting blamed for it. But if Rudy Gobert is your center, like guarding the paint better than anyone, there's not much you can do when there's point guards. Derek Lively's good, but he's not going to be able to cover up for the lack of perimeter defense there. So the Mavericks are going to be the 7th seed this year, in my opinion. And the Pelicans, they just don't have a center. That's why I'm moving them a little bit lower. And the Jazz, I like the Jazz. I like Will Hardy. I love Danny Ainge. I like Lauri Markkanen and Colin Sexton. They don't care about winning though. They're going into rebuild mode now, and they're gonna quit by the end of the year. We'll go to the East, and we'll go but the difference again. So really quick, we will go based on predictions over under. Let's see which ones we disagree with the most. Oh, the Pistons, I had winning much more games. Everything went off them last year because they didn't have the coach they wanted. Jaden Ivey didn't play a lot of games. They didn't have a veteran to help them and everything. They have one now. They have Tobias Harris. They have a great coach in JB Bickerstaff. And Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey are going to be developing better players. So they're going to be a much better team than people think. Same thing with the Charlotte Hornets because even though I hate Miles Bridges, I love Charles Lee. I love Brandon Miller. I think LaMelo Ball is going to be healthy this year. All that together. And the fact that I like Steve Clifford I don't have anything against Steve Clifford, but he just feels like nobody really likes him. But yeah, Charles Lee, everyone loves Charles Lee. I love Charles Lee's former Celtics coach. So yeah, the Hornets won more games this year. And I believe that with the Bucks and the Raptors too. Celtics, I just did one and a half over. 50.5 is appropriate, but I feel like losing 6 more games is a lot though. Could be wrong though. Especially because you ran the same team back even with the Porzingis injury. After that, most of these teams that I have losing more games, I could have sworn that I had the Sixers losing more games. Maybe it's because I thought I had the Bucks being better, but the Sixers worse. That's why it seems like there's a bigger difference, but it's actually not the big of a difference. But yeah, with Embiid load management, that's my issue with them. So let me go back real quick here. Now we will have we have the standings up showing now. So I wrote my article on Primetime Sports Talk, but basically the only I'm not going to give my prediction now because there's so much that can go. But my conference finals predictions will be the first 2 seeds. The Thunder will beat the Grizzlies. The Celtics will beat the Bucks, and the Celtics will beat the Thunder in the finals. Those are my official predictions. The Celtics beating the Thunder in the finals, with Jason Tatum winning Finals MVP, and then also Jason Tatum winning Eastern Conference Finals MVP and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander winning Western Conference Finals MVP. So, as much as I love Jaylen Brown, as proud as I am of him for winning Finals MVP this year, I think that this is the year Jason Tatum says, "Okay, awesome job, Jaylen. We're proud of you, and you're going to do exactly what you did just now. But I'm going to take that jump. The summer disrespected us last year. Everyone disrespected us over the summer, and we're gonna go back at them. We're going to win this damn championship again. But I'm going to do it this time, and Jaylen Brown's going to be fine with it. There are going to be some nights where Jaylen Brown has to take over. That's fine." But for the most part, Jason Tatum will be that guy taking over. And he is going to be the Finals MVP. And there's a chance, if Jason Tatum dominates, wins Finals MVP, we're going to start having conversations about him. Some people are going to be uncomfortable with, but I'm going to be very comfortable having. So let me stop sharing the screen real quick because I feel like everything is done for now. But yeah, we dove into my top 100. We dove into Vegas odds. We dove into my predictions. And today is Sunday the 20th. By next Thursday, it'll be episode 48 of the All American Hoops podcast. But obviously, I'm extremely excited to get the season going. Tuesday is going to be an awesome day. Celtics versus Knicks. Celtics going to be raising the banner up at TD Garden. We are super, super, super excited for that. But yeah, for those of you who are watching now, and for those of you who are watching over the summer, thanks so much for tuning in over the summer. Obviously, there's not much we could do over the summer. It was easier this year with the Olympics, but there's not much we can add to over the summer besides like some rankings lists. So I was happy with the community that I built over the summer, but it's going to grow even more now that more people are going to be focusing on basketball. But very, very happy for the way things are going on the pod, hoping to expand it even more. But I'm very, very excited for how things are going to wrap up. But anyway, let me pull up the banner real quick. Make sure to follow All American Hooper on all social media platforms. Go on Sportsfluence Printify to buy a shirt, All American Hoops. Subscribe to @SportsFluent on YouTube to catch every episode at Thursday at 8 p.m. And follow @SportsFluence on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, take a look at my columns on my column on primetimesportstalk.com. I've been releasing my top 100 through that. I have more explanation for every single player, so take a look at that. 100 through 81 is out right now, or 71. I think it's 100 through 71 actually is out right now, and I'm hoping that the rest of the top 70 is going to be out within the next few days. So, yeah, that's all I got for today. This has been another episode of the All American Hoops podcast. I'll close it out like Chilton does. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive, and call your mother. Call your mother, guys. She'll love to hear from you.